Have you ever wondered why so many people dream big, but so few actually live those dreams? The truth is, it's not talent that separates the ones who rise from the ones who stay stuck. It's not luck. It's not timing. It's not even opportunity. It's the simple, unglamorous, often painful act of forcing yourself to take action every single day, especially on the days when you least feel like it. That's the real difference. That's the line that divides those who only talk about their goals from those who actually achieve them. Right now, think about your life. Think about the goals you've been carrying in your heart for years. Maybe it's financial freedom. Maybe it's building something of your own. Maybe it's health, love, or mastery of a skill that burns deep in your soul. You've thought about it. You've imagined it. You've pictured yourself living that reality. And yet, how often have you stopped yourself before taking the first real step? How many times have you said, I'll start tomorrow or when the time is right? How many times have you let excuses disguise themselves as reasons? If you're honest, you already know the answer, and that's why you're here right now. Because a part of you is tired of waiting, tired of stalling, tired of living beneath your potential. The truth is, change doesn't come from inspiration alone. Motivation without consistent action dies quickly. You felt that high before. You watched something, heard something, or read something that sparked fire in you. For a moment, you felt unstoppable. But then, hours later, that spark dimmed. Why? Because you didn't follow it with action. The brain rewards consistency, not intensity. One hard push won't change your life, but small daily pushes compound into transformation. This is the unshakable law of progress. So here's the message I want you to take in today. Discipline is greater than motivation. Motivation is emotional, temporary, fleeting, but discipline is a choice, a commitment, a decision you repeat every morning, no matter what mood you wake up in. When you learn to push through resistance daily, you stop being a prisoner of feelings and you start becoming the master of your future. That's when things shift. That's when you stop waiting for the right time and you create the time. You need to understand greatness isn't built in giant leaps. It's built in daily steps. Every action you take either moves you closer to the person you want to become or further away. Every day you skip is a day you can never get back. And every day you force yourself to take action, even when it's uncomfortable, you're building proof to yourself that you can trust you. That trust is the foundation of confidence, and confidence is the fuel for everything you want in life. Stay with me, because if you can lock into this truth, if you can embrace the discomfort of showing up daily, your goals stop being fantasies. They become inevitable. That's the emotional reward waiting for you at the end of this journey. The unshakable belief that nothing can stop you. Not fear, not doubt, not setbacks. Because once you've learned to force yourself into action every single day, you become unstoppable. Most people spend their lives waiting for the perfect moment to act, but that moment never comes. They wait for clarity, for courage, for confidence, for some magical alignment that will make everything easier. But life doesn't reward waiting. Life rewards movement. The path only reveals itself when you're already walking. Confidence is not a gift you're given at the start. It's the reward you earn after showing up again and again. Even when your hands shake and your mind whispers doubts. Action creates clarity. Action creates courage. Action creates the momentum that waiting will never deliver. Think about the times you've held yourself back. Fear was there, doubt was there, uncertainty was there. You convinced yourself you needed to feel ready, but the truth is, readiness is a myth. No one feels fully ready when standing on the edge of change. The ones who grow are the ones who leap anyway. They use fear as fuel instead of a cage. They understand that discomfort is not a signal to stop. It's proof that you're moving in the right direction. If you feel resistance, it means you're standing at the doorway of growth. The question is whether you'll step through it or retreat back to safety. Every time you avoid action, you strengthen the habit of hesitation. You train your brain to choose comfort over progress. And every time you force yourself to act, even in small ways, you rewire your identity. You stop being the person who only talks about change and start becoming the person who lives it. Neuroscience has proven that habits are formed through repetition. The more you repeat an action, the stronger the neural pathway becomes. So imagine what happens when you repeat discipline daily. You carve a new identity into your brain. An identity built on strength, resilience, and follow-through. This is why it's not about massive breakthroughs once in a while. It's about daily choices that seem small in the moment, but stack into unstoppable momentum. Waking up and moving your body when you want to sleep in. Writing one page when you don't feel inspired. Making that phone call when you're scared of rejection. Each act is a brick, and those bricks build the foundation of your future. The wall of success is not built in one day. It's built through steady, relentless layering. When you live this way, something powerful happens inside you. You stop relying on motivation because now you trust yourself. You know you will show up no matter how you feel. That trust is rare. That trust is freedom. And from that place, goals stop being overwhelming mountains. They break down into simple steps, and each step is within your reach. You begin to realize that the distance between who you are and who you want to be is measured only in consistent actions you're willing to take. So ask yourself, are you ready to stop waiting? Are you ready to trade hesitation for action, excuses for progress, fear for forward motion? Because your future self is waiting. The version of you that's stronger, braver, and freer is not built tomorrow. It's built today in the choices you make right now. And if you commit to showing up daily, no matter how small the step, you unlock a power most people never experience. The power to know that your destiny is in your hands. The battle you are fighting is not against the world, it is against your own mind. Every time you choose discipline over delay, you win a war inside yourself. The enemy is not the challenge ahead of you. The enemy is the voice that tells you to wait, to quit, to stay comfortable. That voice has been shaping your life for years. It convinces you that tomorrow is safer, that comfort is enough, that dreams are unrealistic. But here's the truth. That voice is a liar. And the only way to silence it is with action. Not by arguing with it, not by waiting for it to disappear, but by moving forward while it screams in your ear. When you push through, something begins to shift. Your brain starts to learn a new language. Instead of associating discomfort with danger, it begins to associate discomfort with growth. Instead of linking fear to paralysis, it starts to link fear to courage. This is how transformation happens. Not in the absence of fear, but in the decision to move forward in spite of it. Science shows that confidence is built through mastery of small wins. Each time you act when you don't feel ready, you create evidence that you are stronger than your doubts. Collect enough evidence, and your mind no longer questions whether you can handle the next challenge. It already knows you can. This is why daily action matters so much. It's not just about progress towards your goals, it's about reprogramming your identity. Every action you take is a vote for the person you want to become. Skip the action and you cast a vote for the old you, the one who hesitates, procrastinates, and plays small. Take the action and you cast a vote for the new you, the one who is disciplined, courageous, and unstoppable. Every day is an election, and your habits are the ballots. The person you become is the result of the votes you cast over time. Think about how powerful that is. You don't have to change everything overnight. You don't have to solve the entire puzzle in one move. You just have to win today. You just have to cast one more vote for your future self. That is how momentum builds. That is how ordinary people become extraordinary. They don't wait for a miracle. They create a pattern of small wins that compound into greatness. And here's the part that most people miss. When you force yourself to act daily, you build resilience that nothing can take from you. Life will test you. You will face rejection, failure, and moments of exhaustion. But if you have trained yourself to act regardless of circumstances, you will never be powerless. You will rise again and again, because taking action will no longer depend on how you feel. It will simply be who you are. That identity is unshakable. That identity is freedom. So when the voice of doubt shows up, when fear tries to hold you still, remember this truth. Every step you take is proof that you are stronger than the chains that once held you back. Every step you take builds a life where your dreams are not just imagined but lived. And if you keep stepping, if you keep pushing daily, the gap between who you are and who you know you could be will close. That is the reward for daily action. A life aligned with your highest potential. The reason most people never reach their goals is not because they are incapable, but because they allow emotions to dictate their actions. Feel tired, so they quit. Feel discouraged, so they pause. Feel overwhelmed, so they stop. But emotions are temporary. They rise and fall like waves, unpredictable and uncontrollable. If your future depends on the ups and downs of feelings, you will always remain at the mercy of chance. True power begins the moment you decide that your actions will not be governed by mood, but by commitment. Commitment does not waver when you're tired. Commitment does not back down when it's hard. Commitment shows up no matter what. This is why self-discipline is the highest form of self-respect. Every time you follow through on your word, you prove to yourself that you are trustworthy. Think about how many people break promises to themselves. They say they will start, but they don't. They say they will change, but they slip back. Every broken promise weakens confidence, while every kept promise strengthens it. Confidence isn't about feeling unstoppable. It's about knowing you will show up regardless of the storm inside you. That knowing can only be earned through action. Your brain is always keeping score. It remembers the days you avoid, and it remembers the days you push forward. Over time, this score shapes your identity. If you let avoidance win, you start to see yourself as someone who doesn't finish, someone who doesn't have what it takes. But if you stack up wins, even small ones, you begin to embody the mindset of a finisher. And once you see yourself as someone who follows through, quitting no longer feels natural. Success stops being a dream and becomes a reflection of who you are. This is why daily action matters more than intensity. Anyone can push hard for one day, but consistency is where transformation lives. The human mind and body adapt to what is repeated. You train yourself with every decision. Skip today, and you train the habit of delay. Show up today, and you train the habit of resilience. The choice is simple, but the impact is life-changing. Understand this deeply. Your goals do not care how you feel. They do not wait for the perfect mood or the perfect circumstances. They respond only to what you do. Action is the language of progress. And the more fluent you become in that language, the more fluent you become in success. Imagine what your life would look like if you stopped negotiating with yourself. Imagine if you treated your daily actions as non-negotiable, like breathing, like eating, like survival. That is how breakthroughs are created, not in bursts of motivation, but in relentless execution. So when you wake up and resistance whispers that today doesn't matter, remember the truth. Today is everything. Today is a chance to cast another vote for the future you want. Today is an opportunity to add another layer of strength to your character. And today is the only day you can control. You cannot rewrite yesterday, and you cannot live in tomorrow. All you have is this moment, and what you do with it decides everything. When you take action now, you prove that you refuse to live trapped by hesitation. You prove that you are the kind of person who turns intention into reality. And when that becomes who you are, success stops being a possibility, it becomes inevitable. The gap between who you are and who you want to be is not measured in years, it is measured in choices. Every decision you make either closes that gap or widens it. The life you dream about is not waiting somewhere far in the future. It is built moment by moment, action by action, decision by decision. The problem is that most people underestimate the weight of a single choice. They think skipping today won't matter. They think one misstep is harmless. But choices compound just like money compounds. A small decision repeated consistently becomes a powerful force, either pulling you closer to success or dragging you deeper into regret. When you choose action, even the smallest action, you ignite momentum. Momentum is one of the most powerful forces in psychology. It makes hard things easier and keeps energy flowing forward. But momentum is fragile. It can be lost in a moment of hesitation. It can be broken by a single decision to delay. That's why forcing yourself to act daily is so vital. You are not just completing tasks, you are protecting momentum, guarding the forward motion that will eventually carry you through obstacles that once felt impossible. The mind loves comfort, but comfort is the enemy of growth. If you allow comfort to guide you, your dreams will suffocate in silence. Every time you choose comfort, you choose stagnation. Every time you choose discomfort, you choose expansion. Growth is not supposed to feel safe. Growth is supposed to stretch you, challenge you, and demand more from you than you think you can give. And the beautiful thing is, when you push through discomfort long enough, what once felt impossible becomes normal. The weight that crushed you yesterday becomes light tomorrow. This is how strength is built. The secret is to understand that your feelings are not commands. Just because you feel tired doesn't mean you have to quit. Just because you feel afraid doesn't mean you can't move forward. Just because you feel unmotivated doesn't mean you should stop. Your feelings are signals, but they are not your master. The moment you learn to act independent of your emotions is the moment you unlock freedom. That freedom is the ability to move forward no matter the storm, to act even when the ground beneath you shakes. Think about the person you want to become. Strong, disciplined, resilient, unshakable. That person is not created in grand moments of inspiration, but in the quiet, ordinary battles you win each day. That person is forged in the decision to wake up and take action when it would be easier to roll over. That person is built in the choice to focus when distraction calls, to persist when quitting tempts, to rise when failure knocks you down. You are building that person right now with the choices you make today. The truth is simple. Success is not about one big leap. It is about relentless steps. Each step you take, no matter how small, moves you closer to your vision. Each step you take proves to yourself that you are capable of more than you thought. And each step you take silences the doubts that once held you captive. If you keep stepping, if you keep choosing action over hesitation, one day you will look back and realize you didn't just reach your goals. You became the kind of person who could. And that is a victory no one can take away from you. There will always be a reason to delay. There will always be an excuse that feels convincing in the moment. Your mind will present you with comfort wrapped in logic, telling you it's okay to rest, it's okay to wait, it's okay to start later. But later is where dreams go to die. Later becomes next week. Next week becomes next year. And next year becomes a lifetime of regret. The truth is brutal but liberating. The only way to escape the trap of waiting is to act right now, regardless of how you feel, regardless of how ready you think you are. Action is the antidote to fear. The moment you move, fear loses its grip. The longer you hesitate, the stronger fear grows. This is why so many people live paralyzed, not because they lack ability, but because they never take the first step. They feed fear by waiting. But you have a choice. You can starve fear by acting. Fear cannot survive in motion. It dissolves the second you step forward, and with every step, your courage expands. This is not theory, it is psychology. The brain adapts to action. It learns through experience, not thought. You can think about courage forever and still feel afraid, but the moment you act, you prove to your mind that fear is not fatal. Discipline is not about punishing yourself. It's about liberating yourself. It's about building a life where you no longer need to negotiate with doubt, where your default response is movement. Imagine the peace that comes when you no longer waste energy debating whether or not to follow through. Imagine the clarity of knowing your actions are aligned with your vision every single day. That kind of discipline doesn't limit you, it frees you. It frees you from the chains of procrastination, from the weight of indecision, from the shame of unkept promises. Every day you act, you're not just moving toward your goals, you're rewriting your story. You are proving to yourself that you are not defined by your past patterns of hesitation. You are not trapped by the old identity of someone who quits. With every act of discipline, you are reborn into a stronger, sharper, more determined version of yourself. This is how transformation happens, not in one dramatic moment, but in thousands of quiet victories that no one else sees. Those victories add up. They create a force inside you that is undeniable. And when setbacks come, and they will, you will face them differently. Instead of seeing them as signs to stop, you will see them as signals to rise higher. You will have trained your mind to interpret difficulty as growth, not defeat. You will carry yourself differently because you will know that nothing has the power to break someone who acts daily in the face of resistance. That strength will not just achieve goals, it will transform you into someone who can handle whatever life brings. So when your mind whispers that tomorrow is better, answer it with action today. When it tells you that you're not ready, prove it wrong by moving anyway. When it insists you need more time, show it that time bends to those who act with urgency. The life you want is not waiting somewhere in the distance. It is waiting behind the next action you take. And the sooner you move, the sooner you realize that greatness is not something you wait for. It is something you create. Every dream demands a price, and that price is paid in daily effort. You cannot wish your way into greatness. You cannot hope your way into transformation. The only currency that buys your future is consistent action. And the moment you realize this, life becomes simpler. You stop chasing shortcuts. You stop waiting for luck. You stop searching for an easy path that doesn't exist. Instead, you embrace the grind, knowing that every drop of effort is an investment that compounds into results. Discipline may feel heavy in the moment, but regret weighs far more. And every day you act, you are choosing discipline over regret, growth over stagnation. progress over excuses. The truth is, action itself is a form of faith. It is faith in your vision, faith in your ability, faith in the belief that what you are building matters. Anyone can say they believe in themselves, but belief without action is empty. Real faith is shown in the steps you take when no one is watching, when doubt is loud, when fear tries to control you. Every time you push forward, you are declaring to yourself and to the world, I believe in the future I am creating. That declaration becomes unshakable when you repeat it through your actions day after day. Psychology teaches us that the human brain is wired for reward. We seek pleasure, we avoid pain. But here lies the secret. You can rewire your brain to find reward in discipline. At first, your mind resists. It craves comfort. But when you train yourself to act daily, the brain begins to associate action with progress and progress with pride. That pride is a reward far greater than temporary comfort. It is the deep satisfaction of knowing you are becoming stronger, more capable, more aligned with your highest potential. That satisfaction cannot be bought. It can only be earned. Each action you take is a seed planted in the soil of your future. You may not see the results immediately, but the roots are growing beneath the surface. And one day, when you least expect it, the breakthrough will appear. People will call it overnight success, but you will know the truth. It was built brick by brick, seed by seed, action by action. Nothing was wasted. Every step mattered. Every choice mattered. Every day you forced yourself to move became a part of the foundation of your success. Understand this. Success is not about speed. It is about persistence. Some will rise quickly and fall just as fast because they never built discipline. But those who act daily, who embrace the grind, who stay consistent even when progress feels invisible, they are the ones who last. They are the ones who create legacies, not just moments. That is what you are building when you choose daily action. You are building a life that cannot be shaken by setbacks, distractions, or delays. So stop underestimating the power of today. Stop telling yourself that small actions don't matter. Every action is a deposit into your future, and the account is growing whether you realize it or not. Keep depositing, keep building, keep acting, because the day will come when you will look at your life and realize you created exactly what you once only dreamed of. And that realization will not come from luck or chance or wishful thinking. It will come from the daily decision to act. No matter how you felt, no matter what stood in your way, the mind will always try to protect you from discomfort. But that same protection is the very thing that keeps you stuck. Comfort feels safe, but safety often means staying exactly where you are. Growth demands that you step into places your mind labels as risky, uncertain, or uncomfortable. The irony is that the very discomfort you try to avoid is the path to the strength, freedom, and success you crave. If you can learn to see discomfort not as punishment, but as proof of progress, you unlock a level of resilience that few ever reach. Every time you lean into the hard thing, you are breaking chains that have held you down for years. Discipline is the art of choosing your future over your feelings. Feelings scream for relief, for pleasure, for the easiest option in the moment. But the future demands patience, sacrifice, and focus. When you let feelings lead, you trade long-term fulfillment for short-term satisfaction. When you let your future lead, you transform every small sacrifice into fuel for the life you are building. That shift changes everything. You stop asking, do I feel like it? You start asking, does this action align with the person I want to become? And one question keeps you stuck, the other sets you free. And here's the truth that most avoid. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to hand you the discipline you need. Nobody can walk the steps for you. Your future is your responsibility alone. That might sound heavy, but it is also the most empowering realization you can ever embrace. Because if it depends on you, then you don't have to wait on anyone. You don't have to depend on chance. You don't have to hope for luck. You can decide right now to build momentum with your own two hands. That power is already inside you. You just have to choose to use it. Psychologists call it the progress principle. The most powerful source of motivation is not massive success, but the small sense of forward motion. That's why action is everything. Even when you don't see results, even when the change feels invisible, the simple act of moving forward triggers motivation, energy, and confidence. You don't wait for motivation to act. You act your way into motivation. That cycle builds upon itself, creating unstoppable momentum that makes quitting harder than continuing. Every day you delay, you weaken that cycle. Every day you choose action, you strengthen it. Think about how different your life could look if you refused to break the chain, if you showed up every single day, not perfectly, but consistently. If you treated action as non-negotiable, like breathing. In weeks, you would feel the shift. In months, others would notice. In years, you would not recognize the person you've become. That transformation is not a fantasy. It is the inevitable outcome of consistent discipline. So ask yourself, are you willing to pay the price today to live free tomorrow? Are you willing to push through discomfort, to act when you don't feel like it, to keep moving when it would be easier to stop? Because the life you want is not built on what you do occasionally. It is built on what you do daily. And every day you choose action, you are casting a vote for your future, proving to yourself that you are unstoppable, unshakable, and unbreakable. Every time you take action when it would be easier to do nothing, you are strengthening a muscle far greater than willpower. You are strengthening your identity. The strongest force in human psychology is the desire to remain consistent with how you see yourself. If you see yourself as someone who hesitates, you will continue to hesitate. If you see yourself as someone who quits, you will continue to quit. But the moment you start proving to yourself through action that you are disciplined, that you are resilient, that you are the kind of person who does what needs to be done no matter what, your identity shifts. And once your identity shifts, your behavior follows effortlessly. This is why forcing yourself into daily action is so powerful. You are not just checking boxes or completing tasks. You are sculpting the very way you see yourself. Each day you show up, you cast a vote for a new identity. You begin to trust yourself in ways you never had before. That trust becomes a weapon against fear and doubt, because when you know who you are, when you have evidence that you are someone who follows through, no obstacle can intimidate you. You've proven to yourself that no matter what stands in your way, you will not break. Too many people wait to feel confident before they act. They believe confidence comes first, that they need assurance before they can move. But confidence is not the starting point. It is the result. It is born from doing the thing you once doubted you could do. The more you act, the more evidence you collect. And the more evidence you collect, the louder your confidence grows. Confidence is not found in thoughts, it is forged in action. This is why daily discipline is non-negotiable. Without it, you will forever feel unprepared, forever wait for the right time, forever believe the lie that you are not ready. But you are ready. You've always been ready. The only thing standing between where you are and where you want to be is the action you're avoiding. And the longer you wait, the more you reinforce the habit of hesitation. But the second you act, you interrupt the cycle. You create a new pattern, one that builds momentum instead of doubt, strength instead of fear. That pattern, repeated daily, becomes unstoppable. Every time you step forward, you are building a version of yourself that no longer negotiates with excuses. Imagine how powerful it would feel to know that your word to yourself is final, that when you decide, it's done, no debate, no delay. That is the kind of certainty that moves mountains. That is the kind of certainty that separates dreamers from achievers. The life you desire will not be handed to you. It must be earned through consistent proof, through repeated evidence that you are willing to pay the price. But here's the reward. When you build that kind of identity, nothing can take it from you. Our opportunities may come and go, circumstances may rise and fall, but who you have become remains. And once you have become the kind of person who takes action daily, success is no longer a matter of if, it is only a matter of when. Greatness is not about talent, and it is not about luck. It is about endurance. The world is full of people with incredible ideas, powerful dreams, and rare gifts who never went anywhere because they quit too soon. The difference between those who rise and those who fade is not brilliance. It is persistence. The willingness to keep going when progress feels invisible, when results feel delayed, when obstacles feel endless. Daily action is how you train persistence. Every step you take, no matter how small, builds stamina. And that stamina is what carries you through the seasons when others give up. Most people want quick results. They want the shortcut, the instant transformation, the overnight breakthrough. But psychology proves that what is achieved quickly rarely lasts because it lacks the foundation of discipline. The brain needs repetition to rewire itself. The body needs repetition to grow stronger, and character needs repetition to solidify. Without that foundation, success crumbles under pressure. But if you choose the path of daily action, you are laying brick after brick, building something unshakable. That structure cannot be destroyed by one setback, one failure, or one disappointment, because it was never built on speed. It was built on endurance. There will be days when you feel like nothing is changing, days when the work feels thankless, days when you wonder if it's worth it. Those are the most important days of all. Because when you act, even then, when you push through the silence and the waiting, you are proving to yourself that you don't need instant results to stay committed. You are proving that your loyalty is to the process, not just the reward. And those who stay loyal to the process are the ones who eventually receive rewards that others can't even imagine. Every step you take is not just about reaching your goal. It is about who you become along the way. That is the real prize. When you act daily, you are not just building success, you are building resilience. You are learning patience. You are cultivating strength. These qualities will outlast any single achievement because they transform the way you approach every challenge in life with discipline and persistence. No setback is final. With endurance, failure becomes feedback and rejection becomes redirection. Nothing has the power to stop a person who refuses to quit. The key is to stop chasing the feeling of progress and start trusting the fact of progress. You may not see the change immediately, but change is happening. Just like water shapes rock, your daily actions are carving out the life you desire. It may look slow, but it is unstoppable. And one day the results will be undeniable. People will wonder how you did it, and the answer will be simple. You didn't stop. You didn't give in to comfort. You didn't quit in frustration. You didn't wait for motivation. You acted daily, and persistence carried you where talent and luck never could. So when you feel tired, remind yourself that endurance is your advantage. When you feel unseen, remind yourself that the process is your proof. And when you feel like quitting, remind yourself that every step you take is one step closer to the life you refuse to settle without. Because those who persist daily are not just participants in life. They are the ones who finish the race, claim the prize, and inspire the world. The world doesn't reward intentions, it rewards execution. Everyone has ideas, everyone has dreams, but few have the courage to act on them daily. That is why most remain stuck while a small percentage rise. The separation isn't intelligence or talent, it's consistency. Every day you choose action, you are separating yourself from the crowd. You are breaking away from the average mindset that waits for permission, waits for comfort, waits for certainty. The truth is, no one is coming to hand you the life you want. You must create it with your own discipline, your own effort, your own relentless follow through. Every time you take action, you are casting a vote, not only for your future, but also for your influence. People are watching even when you don't realize it. Your consistency inspires, your discipline influences, your persistence sets an example. You may not see it, but your daily actions ripple outward. And those ripples can inspire others to act, to change, to grow. This is bigger than you. The discipline you build is not just about your success, it's about the lives you impact along the way. That impact begins the moment you decide to stop living passively and start living intentionally through action. Action has a compounding effect. One choice leads to another. One disciplined day makes the next one easier. And over time, what once felt difficult becomes natural, automatic, effortless. This is the science of habit formation. Your brain adapts to what you repeatedly do, and it begins to hardwire those behaviors into your identity. That is why the beginning feels so hard. It is the breaking of old patterns. But the longer you remain consistent, the more your brain rewires itself to crave discipline, to expect progress, to reject inaction. This is how transformation becomes permanent. There will be moments when you feel invisible, when it seems no one notices the effort you're putting in. But you must remember that progress is not always loud. Progress is often silent, hidden beneath the surface until the breakthrough comes. And when it does, it will seem sudden to everyone else, but you will know it was the product of countless unseen days of discipline. That is why you cannot stop. You cannot let impatience steal from you what consistency is building. Discipline is not about perfection. It is about persistence. You will make mistakes. You will fall short some days. But as long as you return, as long as you keep moving, you are still winning. One misstep doesn't erase the journey. What destroys progress is quitting. What guarantees success is refusing to stop. This is why daily action is sacred. It protects your momentum. It guards your progress. It ensures that no matter how difficult the road becomes, you are still moving forward. So do not underestimate the power of today's choices. Do not discount the weight of one act of discipline. That single act might feel small now, but it is building something massive inside you. Keep showing up, keep stacking days, keep choosing action over hesitation. Because each day you act, you are not just building a future, you are building yourself into someone unshakable, someone unstoppable, someone who refuses to settle for anything less than greatness. You were not born to stay the same. Deep inside you, there's a voice that keeps whispering that you are capable of more. That voice never leaves because it knows the truth of who you are. But life has a way of burying it under noise, under fear, under distraction. And the longer you ignore it, the quieter it becomes until one day you risk mistaking silence for peace. But that silence is not peace. It is the pain of potential left unused. That pain grows heavier the longer you avoid action, and it becomes regret. The only way to silence regret before it begins is to act now, to move daily, to answer that voice before it fades into something you can never recover. Every dream has an expiration date if it is not fed with action. Time does not wait. The world does not pause. You cannot keep saying someday and expect that day to arrive. Someday is an illusion and it robs you of the only power you truly have, the present moment. The most successful people in the world understand that tomorrow is uncertain, but today is a gift. They use today, they work today, they sacrifice today, and because of that, tomorrow bends in their favor. You have that same power. It begins with choosing to treat every day like a chance, not a chore. Action transforms fear into confidence. The more you move, the less room fear has to control you. Fear thrives in hesitation and waiting and overthinking. But once you take a step, fear begins to shrink. And with every step, your courage grows. This is how confidence is built, not by waiting to feel ready, but by acting before readiness arrives. Readiness is a lie. Action is the truth. And the truth is, you already have what you need to begin. The mind is always searching for comfort, always convincing you to wait until the perfect moment. But comfort never builds greatness. Growth is born in discomfort. It is in the difficult mornings when you rise anyway, in the tired evenings when you push anyway, in the overwhelming moments when you choose discipline anyway. Those are the defining moments of your life. And when you stack enough of them together, you become unstoppable. You become the kind of person who doesn't just dream about change. You embody it. There is a fire inside you, and it will either burn you with regret or fuel you with progress. The choice is yours, but the fire will not go away. If you feed it with excuses, it will consume you in bitterness. If you feed it with action, it will carry you through storms and lead you to victories you once thought impossible. Every day is a chance to decide what that fire will do. Every day is a chance to rise, to fight, to build, to transform. The truth is simple. Your life is shaped not by what you wish for, but by what you work for. You cannot control the future, but you can control the steps you take today. And if you master today, the future will take care of itself. This is your time. This is your chance. Stop waiting, start building, and never stop moving toward the life you were meant to create. Greatness is never the result of a single massive leap. It is the accumulation of countless small steps that seem invisible in the moment. The world glorifies breakthroughs, but what it ignores are the thousands of unseen days that built the foundation for that breakthrough. Every action you take daily, no matter how small, is like laying a brick. Most people abandon the wall because they get impatient with how slow the process feels. But the ones who refuse to quit, the ones who lay brick after brick even when no one notices, are the ones who eventually create something unshakable. Your wall of progress is waiting for you to build it, and then the only question is whether you will keep showing up to place the next brick. The truth is, discipline isn't always exciting. It doesn't always feel glamorous. Some days it feels repetitive, dull, and heavy, but this is where most people give up because they expect the journey to always feel thrilling. They don't understand that the power lies not in the feeling, but in the doing. Motivation may spark the start, but discipline is what finishes the race. And if you can push yourself to act even when it feels boring, even when it feels hard, even when it feels like nothing is changing, you will have unlocked a secret most people never discover, that freedom comes through commitment. When you hold yourself to daily action, you create inner strength that cannot be faked. You begin to trust yourself. Confidence is not about what you say. It is about what you consistently prove to yourself through action. Each time you keep a promise to yourself, you reinforce your identity as someone who follows through. Each time you show up, you strengthen the bond between who you are and who you want to become. And eventually, it becomes impossible to see yourself as anything less than disciplined, focused, and determined. That is how true self-respect is built, not through words, but through the evidence of action. There's a psychological shift that happens when you commit to acting daily. You stop relying on emotion to guide your decisions. You stop waiting for motivation to arrive. Instead, you anchor yourself in principle. You build your life on decisions that align with your goals, not on fleeting moods. And when you live this way, you take back power from distractions, from doubt, from weakness. You stop being a prisoner of your impulses and start becoming the master of your destiny. Every single time you choose discipline over comfort, you are writing your future. Every single time you take action instead of waiting, you are shaping your destiny. The question is not whether you have the potential, it is whether you will do the work. Potential means nothing without execution. Dreams mean nothing without action. Discipline is the bridge that carries you from where you are to where you want to be. And the only way to cross that bridge is to take step after step, every single day, no matter how you feel. You have the power right now to separate yourself from the majority. You have the chance to rise above the noise, above the excuses, above the distractions. But it starts with one decision: to act today, to act tomorrow, and to keep acting until the life you imagine is the life you live. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is not measured in miles, but in choices. Everyday life places opportunities in front of you disguised as decisions. Wake up or sleep in, focus or drift, act or delay. Most people lose not because they lack talent, but because they keep choosing comfort in those small, quiet moments. They underestimate the power of daily choices, not realizing that each one compounds over time. Success or failure is rarely the result of one major event. It is the outcome of the decisions you make when no one is watching, when the stakes seem small, when it feels like today doesn't matter. But today always matters. Every choice you make strengthens or weakens your identity. If you choose discipline, you reinforce the belief that you are capable, focused, and resilient. If you choose comfort, you reinforce the belief that your feelings control you. Over time, those choices become habits, and habits become your destiny. This is why change feels so hard. It requires breaking the cycle of choices that have defined you. But the moment you decide to act differently, the moment you decide to break the pattern, you begin to rewrite your future. That is the power you hold in this very moment. The brain is wired for efficiency. It will always try to conserve energy, to seek the path of least resistance. That is why your mind pushes you toward distraction, toward laziness, toward excuses. It is not because you are weak. It is because your mind is protecting the old patterns. But you are not your old patterns. You are not your excuses. You are not your limitations. You are the one who chooses whether to let them control you or to rise above them. And the way you rise is by acting in opposition to them, by proving through behavior that you are stronger than the impulses that try to hold you back. Each time you choose discipline, you send a message to your subconscious: this is who I am now. With repetition, that message becomes permanent. You stop seeing yourself as someone who struggles, and you start seeing yourself as someone who overcomes. You stop identifying with weakness, and you start identifying with strength. This identity shift is the foundation of lasting change, because once you believe you are disciplined, it becomes natural to act disciplined. Once you believe you are resilient, it becomes natural to push through difficulty. And that belief is only forged through daily action. There is no perfect moment to begin. There is only now. Waiting only strengthens the chains of hesitation. Action breaks them. The first step might feel small, but it is not insignificant. It is the beginning of transformation. Every time you act, you chip away at the old version of yourself and build the new one. It is not about being perfect. It is about refusing to stay the same. It is about waking up each day and deciding that you will not let comfort steal your future, that you will not let fear dictate your path, that you will not let excuses define your story. Your choices today are shaping the person you will be tomorrow. The life you want is not built on chance, but on decision. Every moment is an opportunity to prove to yourself that you are stronger than your past, stronger than your fears, stronger than the limits others have placed on you. And the more you choose action, the more you create a future where you no longer wonder what might have been. You live it. The greatest enemy you will ever face is not outside of you. It is within you. It is the voice that whispers that you are tired, that you can start tomorrow, that one skip day won't matter. That voice is subtle, but it is dangerous because it doesn't attack with force. It erodes with comfort. And if you let it, it will steal your future one excuse at a time. But here is the truth. You are not obligated to obey that voice. You have another voice inside you, the one that pushes, the one that hungers, the one that knows you were made for more. That is the voice of discipline. And every day you act, you strengthen it until it becomes louder than doubt, louder than fear, louder than weakness. Your mind is a battlefield. Every decision is a fight between what you want now and what you want most. And the way you win is not with words, it is with action. You silence doubt by moving. You silence fear by doing. You silence